had a moment where your mind was blown away by how overkill one man could be? I'm sure plenty of moments exist, but one scene always sticks in your head. Maybe it's a character that destroys a planet, or perhaps even worse. Stuff like that sticks with us, not because of the destruction, but because they define who these characters are. So, today we'll talk about the 20 moments when badass characters went overkill. Number 20, Guts vs 100 Men, Berserk. Do you know a man who killed over 100 men and all that too without armor? Pretty crazy, right? Well, you should see this man. We're talking about the black swordsman who can pierce through your guts. And well, he's got an apt name for it. Guts. It all started when Berserk and the members of the band Falcon were up against the Tudor army, the most feared faction. Now, fighting them would have to be a crazy idea, right? Well, for Guts, he beat their 100 men single-handedly. This moment was so badass because Guts didn't even have armor on and was covered in blood. Bro couldn't even hear properly. This is the moment where Guts surpassed his human limits and went beyond the limits of pain and endurance. Every single swing of his massive sword was his desperation to protect his friends. Number 19, Kenshiro vs. Ro, Fist of the North Star.
Kenshiro naki, Yuria wa kono Rao ga morayukeru!
I kid you not, this guy's got infinite aura surrounding him. Kenshiro was put up against literally one of the most ruthless enemies in the entire series, Rao the Keno. This battle wasn't just a battle of humans, but titans. I mean, look at them. They're huge. In this battle, Kenshiro took things to the extreme and went truly overkill. Kenshiro is a warrior and a master of the Hakudo Shinken martial arts, and Rao fought him to stop Kenshiro from joining the Hakudo Shinken forces. It's a battle of wills and ideologies. Rao wanted to win the battle and rule the world with his iron fist and believed that power was the ultimate truth, while Kenshiro stooped as the inheritor of the Hakudo Shinken martial art, which protects the weak. With Kenshiro's mastery of fighting spirits, he could dodge Rao's powerful attacks and even bring the mighty warrior to his knees by making him tremble as he declared, "This is fear, Rao." That's not badassery, I don't know what is.
No.
Number 18, Ippo's Dempsey role versus Saramura, Hajime no Ippo. There's another badass moment we just can't skip past when competition crosses limits and you're greedy for victory, willing to risk it all. That's right, we're talking about the intense battle between two opponents, Ippo versus Saramura, more like pride versus dirty tricks. Saramura, the cocky prince who doesn't like losing, and Ippo, our humble king. In a lightweight championship belt, he defeated Ippo using his dirty tactics and changed his stance during the fight. Real classy, right? But here, things get spicy and, well, out of hand, too. Saramura hated Ippo's use of the Dempsey roll, the signature boxing technique inspired by the real technique used by the heavyweight champion, Jack Dempsey. So what did he do? He trained specifically to counter it. I feel like he was more obsessed with Ippo looking back at it than the real fight. Anyway, Ippo went overkill in the battle and shocked everyone with his barrage of punches. It was a side of him that nobody had ever seen, and that moment was a rare glimpse of Monster Ippo. Number 17, Beerus destroys half a planet, DBS. Did you know there's a bigger monster to worry about who just doesn't go overkill, but takes it to a whole nother level? Imagine destroying a planet just because you didn't like the drinks they served there. That's the average life of Beerus the Destroyer from Dragon Ball Super. When he visited a planet inhabited by hog-like humanoids, he investigated the food there and found their drinks to have too much fat content. Therefore, he destroys half the planet with just a tap at the table. I mean, this guy could literally use some fat, right? He looks all skin and bone. Anyway, if you didn't know already, Beerus is not to be messed with. He's literally the destroyer god of Universe 7. His power levels are insane, making him one of the strongest characters in Super. He can destroy planets and their realities, and you'll definitely be scared of someone who can destroy a reality as well. All with a single tap, without caring who dies or who survives. After all, it is his job.
39年ぶりにあのお方が破壊神ビルス様が目を覚まされている
Number 16, Rudius vs. Orsted, Mushoku Tensei.
お前人神という単語に聞き覚えはあるか
あります。たまに夢に出てきて
Have you ever come across a moment where the villain totally outshined the hero in pure badassery? Well, I have. Orsted, the dragon god and the sworn enemy of the human god, went overkill in his battle against our hero, Rudius, and his squad. Now imagine killing someone just because of mere misunderstanding. Oops, that's exactly what Orsted did. He thought Rudius was the human god's apostle, and went on to completely eliminate him. And even though this was a complete misunderstanding, Orsted showed no mercy, and it was brutal. Now, when you're with strong characters like Eris Greyrat and Reassured Saperda, you can rely on them, right? Well, wrong. Not when you're battling Orsted. He handled them like they were a piece of cake. Eris went flying across the corridor, Rudius' throat was even crushed, and started bleeding from the inside. It was extremely intense, yet disturbing battle. And we truly got to see Orsted's godlike strength. Man is the real danger.
なぜ無影響魔術で肺を治療しない死ね
Number 15, Made in Heaven Time Compression, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Made in Heaven. Huh? Well, more like Made in Hell. The way this power messes up time and gravity to torment everyone is beyond brutal. Enrico Pucci, the final boss in Stone Ocean, could accelerate time to a crazy degree. In his final battle against Jolene, the daughter of Jotaro Kujo, Pucci's ability was so mind-boggling that even someone as jacked as Jotaro couldn't land a blow. Now, little did they know that they were up against someone whose ultimate goal was to reset the universe to achieve a world without sin. But Bro got on the wrong track when he wanted to escape the Matrix and reshape reality according to his own twisted vision. Mind you, it also made him nearly invincible on the battlefield, so, I mean, win-win, I guess. For example, Jolene couldn't even react fast enough to tackle his attacks. But here, things start to get good. Remember the blonde kid, Emporio? Well, it was only thanks to his quick thinking that he used Pucci's very own powers against himself and saved everyone. What's crazier is that Emporio defeated him by manipulating oxygen levels and accelerating Pucci's oxygen poisoning. Number 14, Shadow vs. Ragnarok, the Eminence in Shadow. Imagine casually defeating the greatest level of magic like it never existed. And that's exactly what Shadow did. My guy literally fought the strongest Demon Lord of all time like it was nothing. Although the ultimate goal of the Demon Lord was to defeat Shadow, Bro didn't know he was dreaming too high. Then the tables turned on his head when Shadow stylishly defeated Ragnarok like he was running on a runway show. Such an attack wasn't going to happen instantly though, since Shadow's opponent was a disaster incarnate. Each attack shook the land below it and left an impact. During the battle, Shadow even called Ragnarok a, quote, magic spammer and said if he tries to slash the magic spammer, all it'll do is wear me out. Talk about pure badassery. Anyway, this was literally the battle against the strongest, and Shadow went overkill while showing zero mercy to the Demon Lord. With every move, he proved that he was the strongest opponent one could ever imagine fighting.
I'm atomic. Huh?
Number 13, Muzan kills the Lower Moon's Demon Slayer.
神戸を垂れてつくばえ
Now, there's nothing more overkill than a literal demon king killing not just small fry, but perhaps his second strongest group of soldiers just because they were complete disappointments. Because that's what Muzan did, and it wasn't just overkill, it was brutal. Unlike the upper moons, whose members can just casually eat Hashiras without having to worry about being killed, the lower moons are kind of mid by comparison. The fact that they weren't able to kill a single Hashira in the main storyline says it all, too. So, Muzan did what was best, and that was murdering the absolute hell out of every single one of them. They didn't even stand a chance. Whatever they thought, wherever they went, Muzan's giant meat monsters were hot on their backs, ready to eat them like it was Thanksgiving dinner. You could feel the terror that grasped their hearts, and you even kind of felt bad for them a little bit. Muzan lived up to his name of being the Demon King, because if you work for him, not only do you get paid, but you also instantly die if you mess up. It's every corporate worker's worst nightmare. Number 12, Keki versus Jason, Tokyo Ghoul. Speaking of battles to witness, one battle screams overkill. Let's dive into the brutal confrontation between Keki and Jason. This wasn't an ordinary battle. It was Kaneki's grand blowy glow-up moment that made history. So, quick backstory. Jason was a sadistic and brutal ghoul who captured Keki and tortured him a lot. We're not just talking a little smack. Jason literally went into a full horror movie mode. He wanted to break Kaneki's spirit, but here's the twist. Something inside Keki had snapped instantly. His pain and suffering pushed him to a breaking point, and that's when Keki embraced his darker side, followed by intense violent rage and a new level of power. Keki went from crying, "Please just kill me," to saying, "Hey, you wanted to fight, right?" So instead of defeating his opponent, Keki went way beyond and showed no mercy while torturing Jason in return for all that pain he caused him. This specific battle was a major turning point for Keki in the series, which led him to embrace his inner gangster and transform into a smoking hot, fearsome character. So yeah, Jason learned his lesson the hard way. Are you still counting? Number 11, Gon versus Neferupito, Hunter x Hunter. If we're talking about fearsome transformations, let's go back to the good old days of when Gon transformed into an adult Gon in the battle against Neferupito. Now, Neferupito was one of the scariest chimera ants, despite being small, of royal guards who killed Gon's dad's closest friend, Kite. Now, Gon doesn't grieve like a normal person. He went full rage mode to avenge his death. He lost his mind, but instead of signing up for therapy, he said, "Nah, I'm just gonna risk my life and turn into a jacked JoJo character to avenge this myself." And oh boy, did he deliver. Yeah, he did. All of the destruction was done by Gon. The once smiley and bubbly child transformed into a dark, vengeful adult, driven by the pain of losing his mentor-like friend. This fight has etched itself into my memory, both every panel from the manga and every scene from the anime. Gon went overkill and used every ounce of his strength to torture Neferupito. At this point, he wasn't fighting to avenge, but just to destroy as well. He buffed up so bad that no one could stand against him, even when Neferupito had already given it her all. If you know me, you all know that I am obsessed with anime. I've practically turned it into my full-time job, but here's the thing. I've also got this little obsession with collecting merch, and by little, I'm one Luffy figurine away from needing a bigger apartment. Just as I was scouting out my next prized edition, our sponsor today slid right in, and they knew my wallet was about to take another hit. Introducing the anime merch! These legends have an unreal collection of figurines, LED lamps, and shadow light boxes that will make you feel like you just pulled the ultimate gacha. And yeah, I found another killer Luffy figure for myself. Whether you're a diehard fan for Naruto, Bleach, Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Chainsaw Man, or even the latest anime like Dante, these guys have it all. Just picture iconic Bleach scenes glowing in a shadow light box, or your favorite Naruto character lighting up your room in an LED lamp. It's not just merch. It is the next level anime decor your room has been begging for. And for those of you wondering, but are they good quality? Oh, they are good. These are the kind of collectibles that'll make your friends think you've got a secret anime connection in Japan. Whether you're new to collecting or already one merch shelf away from an intervention, the anime merch has got you covered. And because they're awesome, they're hooking you guys up with 10% off your first order. Just use the code HONEST at checkout. So go ahead and click that link in the description and enjoy. Hey, so as a side note, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a like. Been trying out a bit of a new format, so let me know if you're enjoying it or not, you know? Cool, thanks. Number 10, Yumi versus Dante, Black Clover. When it comes to the holy crap, this is insane moments list thing, this battle of Yami Tsukihiro versus Dante Zogratis takes the crown. And let's be honest, if you've watched Black Clover, you know that these two had some serious beef going on. Quick refresher, Dante is the big boss from the Dark Triad who rolled onto the Spade Kingdom to reshape the world with his wicked ways. This guy's no joke. He's got the ability to manipulate gravity that can change Einstein's laws. On the other hand, Yami, leader of Black Bulls, stepped up to throw hands. And, well, lots of slashes. This was one hell of a fight. Dante injured Yami so much that he was nearly gravely injured, but can you imagine a guy being as tough as a bull being injured to death? No, not even close. And even though Yami couldn't stop Dante himself, guess who swooped in the battle like melting butter on a pancake? Of course, it's Asta using his anti-magic to cancel out Dante's gravity magic. Always funny how a kid with zero magic ended up defeating the most powerful enemy. Number 9. Ain's old gown kills 100,000 men. Overlord. Imagine being so powerful that you could kill 100,000 men. That is exactly what Ain's old gown, the overpowered overlord of the Great Tomb of Nazarick, did without breaking a sweat. If that isn't a moment of pure badassery, I do not know what is. Ain's old gown literally slayed the kingdom after the Empire planned to use the opportunity to see his power using this super tier magic spell called Lashud Nugurar. But then the heavens know how to balance stuff, I guess. This guy is a bit of a shy type. Despite being all buffed up, he's actually low-key giving off that vibe. I'm sorry. Ain's is suffering with success, as he's often been forced to tone down his abilities a bit to avoid drawing unwanted attention. Yeah, he's clearly not hiding his bragging underneath the humility cloak. Let's all just collectively agree that he's just a low-key softie. We've seen characters giving their all and defeating their opponents, but Ain's is different. You know, dude's too chill and shy when he's actually a beast. Number 8. Roy Mustang versus Envy. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Well, we have all seen this clip, and it probably needs no introduction at all. I mean, people just watch it all the time because of how satisfying it can be. But still, this was complete and utter overkill. You see, Envy decided to off one of Mustang's closest buddies, and made bro go on an entire scene where he said it was raining. But it clearly wasn't. But now Mustang is out for revenge, and the writers decided he was gonna get some. And on top of that, it was not gonna end well for Envy. You could just hear Envy scream and scream and scream. Mustang just snaps his fingers like it was in a 1980s college bar or something. I mean, at first I was enjoying it, but at the end, you kind of feel sorry for Envy. Mustang was quite literally cooking him alive, and he never even checked to see if it was dead or not. Bro died screaming. But that wasn't just a battle, that was an execution. Number 7, Saitama's One Punch versus Boros. One Punch Man. Have you ever imagined knocking someone out with just a single punch? I'm sure we all have. But Saitama, well, he's living our dreams. Saitama's a self-proclaimed strongest man on Earth, and he's facing off against one of the most challenging opponents, Boros, the leader of the Dark Matter Thieves. He tried to challenge Saitama, and when he finally stepped into the battle, Saitama's single punch sent Boros flying away to the wall. So even after taking the craziest punch in existence, Boros managed to find him. But hey, it was game over when Saitama hit him with his serious punch and eventually defeated him. I mean, it wasn't even Saitama giving it his all. He still always has that poker face going. Anyway, that's the power of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every day. But can you imagine taking Saitama's punch and surviving it? Bro literally did that, and it even blew Saitama's mind. Usually Saitama doesn't have to put much effort into punching anything, but Boros was, well, something. Saitama had to pull out a serious move in order to win and save the planet.
Majinaguri.
Number 6, Escanor vs. Esterosa, the 7 Deadly Sins.
Oshi.
When it comes to sheer alpha energy, Escanor and Esterosa have to be on the list. I mean, Escanor is literally the lion's sin of pride, and Esterosa, bro's the Demon King's son. Could you imagine what would have happened in their battle? Spoiler alert, a lot of destruction. This crazy battle of the strongest started when Escanor tried to stop the 10 Commandments from causing the fall of the Leones. Escanor surpassed his own limits and reached his zenith. Bro turned into the Sun God. Dude's strength surpassed the Demon King's son. Yeah, Escanor literally obliterated him, and let's be honest, you'd be crazy to deny the fact that Escanor was flexing his godlike powers the whole time during the fight. Escanor casually pulled up his ultimate form and defeated Esterosa with Cruel Sun. Imagine being hit by Escanor's hottest attacks. That's gotta be deadly. But you know what's crazy though? This ability instantly evaporated the lake Esterosa fell into. And that's because Cruel Sun lets Escanor create a miniature sun that radiates so much heat from it that it can even melt metal. Number 5, Hollow Ichigo, Bleach. Let's talk about an OG character from an OG anime. Now, Hollow Ichigo isn't your typical alter ego. It's a powerful spirit that was born when Ichigo went through training with Urahara, get his Shinigami powers back. It's also known as Ichigo's inner hollow, or the hollow within Ichigo's body, and during his battle against Ulquiorra, the powerful group of Arrancar from Aizen's top-tier cult, Ichigo unleashed his hollow self. This was an intense battle with the two powerful opponents. Ulquiorra wasn't easy to defeat, dude even evolved into a more powerful form called Segunda Espada, but Ichigo ultimately defeated Ulquiorra by slashing his chest and cutting his left ear. After being defeated, then came the ultimate WTF moment. Ulquiorra literally couldn't believe that he lost to a hollified human like Ichigo. That's what happens when you believe in being the strongest. But that's not how it works. Anyway, Ichigo's powers and his badass attitude throughout the battle with Ulquiorra were truly impressive. The hollow side was something new that fans absolutely loved. Number 4, Eden's Rumbling, AOT.
壁の巨人はこの島の外にある全ての地表を踏み鳴らす。そこにある命をこの世から駆逐するまで。
Whether you think Eren is a genocidal maniac or some kind of hero, you can't deny this one thing. My guy did not hold back from going all in to save his homies. Alright, so most people are super divided about Eren. Some call him a mass murderer. What murder? Others believe he did what had to be done, but it doesn't change the fact that he literally wiped out the entire world to protect his homeland. So, how did it all go down? Well, during the rumbling, Eren unleashed the colossal titans within the walls of Paradis, as if they were dogs going out on a casual stroll. But guess what? Those wild dogs destroyed everything in their path. Nations? Gone. Entire cities? Gone. Sounds pretty terrifying, right? But that's exactly what makes the rumbling such a terrifying yet badass moment. You know that Eren was once a hopeful boy who had big dreams, but Life turned him into a cruel destroyer. He started hating the world because of some true, insane emotional damage, and he probably lost a big chunk of his fan base in the process. The rumbling even cost Eren his own life. But hey, at least his friend survived. Number 3. Luffy's Haki. One Piece. Emotional damage reminds me of how Luffy almost saw Ace getting slaughtered at Marineford. Now, Haki is a special power that is tied to willpower. When Luffy saw Ace getting almost slaughtered by the Marines, he ran shouting so hard that all the Marines fainted. And they were not just 2 or 3 Marines, but the entire army of the Marineford. And this moment is so badass that it's just not fair. Luffy didn't even try to pull up with his Conqueror Haki, but it just popped up because he was super pissed. It's like when you're so mad that you accidentally break anything in your way. But for Luffy, it was the entire atmosphere. This moment let fans witness Luffy's new badass power, and they were just sitting there like, oh, so Luffy really is the next Pirate King, huh?
驚いたね。
あの小僧、
やはり持って生まれたか。お前も。
Number 2. Madara Uchiha vs. all Shinobis. Naruto Shippuden. Alright, it's time to pop the nostalgia ride. This battle we're talking about right now has a wild range of emotions. Many died and many cried. It's the iconic battle between Madara Uchiha and the allied shinobi forces. And when it comes to Madara's strength, well, it was basically like watching a can of mosquito spray take on a huge swarm of mosquitoes. Except the mosquitoes were ninjas. Madara was just too strong. Bro was quite literally overpowered. Madara was so dominating during this battle, it wasn't even funny. I mean, some of the strongest ninjas, like Naruto and Sasuke, couldn't take him down. Madara's ability to manipulate wood style and control Kurama like it was a stray cat. Crazy, right? This battle was easily one of the most legendary battles in Naruto history. Heck, people all around the world still talk about it. It's not just famous for the scale of destruction during the battle, but also for how Madara's tragic past pushed him to fight the allied shinobi forces. It was an extremely chaotic battle where the strongest opponents still lost. Finally, Gojo Satoru, Unlimited Void, Jujutsu Kaisen.
領域展開無料空所
Okay, so have you ever questioned how strong Gojo Satoru is? I mean, we're talking about a guy who is quite literally untouchable. His power isn't just about flashy moves, but it lies in his deep ocean eyes. Gojo's Unlimited Void is a game changer. Now listen up, when Gojo activates this void, and anyone gets trapped in there, they wish they had never existed. It's literally a move strong enough to give you an existential crisis. This moment was no joke. It made Jogo suffer so much, and it resulted in his neck snapping. It was like Gojo played 3D chess while Jogo was stuck on checkers. Gojo's domain expansion is considered one of the strongest domain expansions in existence, which allows him to manipulate space. So if you ever get trapped in his Unlimited Void, you're in for a wild existential ride. Don't forget to check out theanimemerch.com and give your space the anime makeover it deserves. Click the link in the description and snag those details. I'll see you in the next video.